Thanks to Weights and Biases for supporting my channel. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this month's AI 101. Today we'll be focusing on neural network visualization to help us better understand how models make decisions based on the different weights that they're putting on different aspects of our training data. As always, if there are any topics that you'd like to see me cover on AI 101, you can let me know in the comments down below. And I'd actually been considering doing a review of all of the Fast.ai courses, so if that's something that you would be interested in seeing, then you can also let me know down below. Okay, so before we dive into actually visualizing neural networks, let's take a quick second to talk about why visualizing neural networks are useful and what it means to visualize a neural network in the first place. Visualizing a neural network typically means looking at the layout or architecture of a model, as well as the weights that the model learns based on your data. And it can be useful for several reasons: as a sanity check to make sure that the model that you intended to design is the model that you actually designed, as a way to learn about how your model is making predictions based on the different weights of the different layers of your model, and as a way to debug your model if something isn't turning out quite the way you expected. To do this, we're going to look at two different visualization tools. The first is called TensorFlow Playground, and it's a really cool and easy way to look at a fairly straightforward neural network and see the different weights of the model and how they change as you train them under different parameters. This is mostly an educational tool, so you wouldn't be using this to actually look at any model that you'd be developing yourself, but I think it's a really great way of just seeing how neural networks work in real time. After that, we will use the model that we developed in my AI 101 video on how to create your first neural network and look at the ways that the weights change in that model over time using the tools from Weights and Biases. Unlike TensorFlow Playground, the Weights and Biases tools are much more geared towards people who are actively developing their own models and want to track their model performance over time. So this could be a better fit for anyone who is actually doing their own development work and would like a set of tools to help them record different parts of the model as well as other aspects like loss curves and accuracy curves. And I'll say now that these aren't the only ways to do neural network visualization. In fact, as I've mentioned in other videos on this channel, I'd highly recommend getting a really strong foundation in the math behind machine learning so that you can create methods like this from scratch and, in fact, develop neural networks from scratch yourself. Because I think that being able to understand models on that level makes it a lot easier for you to first debug your models if something is going wrong, but also take relatively generic models and customize them based on your needs. Having said that, doing something like that takes a much longer and more in-depth video. In fact, when I learned how to do stuff like that in my machine learning courses, it was usually several lectures. So it's not really within the scope of this channel, but I will leave some resources in the description box for anyone who's curious about learning more. All right, so with that, we will go over to TF Playground. As you can see, this is a pretty straightforward setup, so it will give you options on the types of features that you'd like to use, the data sets that you'd like to use, the ratio of your training and test data, how much noise, things like the learning rate, what activation functions you'd like to use, whether or not you'd like to regularize your data, how many layers you want, how many neurons you want, etc. And so as you can see, this is not something that you're going to be developing a model that you would actually train your own data set on, but it's a great way of playing with models and seeing how they change over time when you start to train them. So we'll start with a pretty basic data set, something that is clearly linearly separable, and we'll also use the model that they give us off the bat. Just to show you how this works, we'll start with all of the initial parameters set to what the website defaults them to, and to start training your model, you just press the play button and see what happens. So we're stopping because obviously our model is fit. It is able to fully separate these two data sets fairly easily, and we can see here the weights that the models learn in order to make that prediction. And from what you can see, essentially, this model is actually a little bit too complex for our data. So the weights that this model is learning can pretty much already linearly separate the data from the first layer, and we don't really need the second layer in order to do that. And that's also why it doesn't take that many iterations for us to achieve a really, really, really good result. But if we wanted to make things a little bit harder for our model, we might look at a data set like this, which is separable. However, we can't do it linearly. So we'll keep all of these same initial parameters and see how long this takes. So as you can see, this takes a little longer, but we do have a model that is able to separate these two data sets. And interestingly, we can also see how the neurons learn to do this separation. So we have some neurons that are learning straight up and down lines, And then we have combinations of those neurons going to separate the different corners of the data set. So you can see that the combination of these neurons over here leads to this corner in blue, and then the other combination leads to this corner, and that's how you end up with these two lines, where it's really one line, it's one formula that's the separation, that learn how to completely separate this data set. Now, what we can also do is decide to remove the number of features and instead focus on something like this as a feature, which, as you might notice, looks pretty similar to how our data set is already split. So we can see how long that takes, and that is a lot fewer iterations than our previous try. This is clearly a much better feature to start with if we want our model to be highly accurate, and in fact we can probably remove neurons and retrain this model and end up with an even better output. So let's see what happens. Yep, so as you can see here, we end up with a just as good model that can make just as good of a prediction using this one feature, because the feature itself resembles the data so much that we don't really need that much more information from that one neuron. So now that we've seen what this looks like on a basic model, we can try our hand at visualizing these weights on a model that we built ourselves. We'll be using the model, as I mentioned, from the How to Make Your First Neural Network video, and we'll also be using Colab as usual. In fact, if anyone has any thoughts on Colab or any other platforms that you use for similar things, definitely let me know in the comments, because I've noticed that there are some bugs and quirks with Colab that make it difficult for you guys to run this code when it works well for me, or when I've just figured out some of the weird quirks that I have to do to get it to run. So if there's something that I can use that is a little bit easier for you guys, I'd love to know. Anyways, we'll start as usual by restarting and running everything, and I do this essentially because when you don't restart the runtime, you end up sometimes having some issues with the logging where variables have already been created and your computer might get a little bit confused that you're trying to recreate them or point in a direction that doesn't exist or something like that. So we're gonna do that. I've actually already run this once, and so I'm not gonna run through the whole thing here. But essentially what we're doing is just looking at a neural network trained on MNIST and seeing what kind of weights we get over time. So we can hop on over to weights and biases. So as you can see, I'm training it for about 100 iterations. So weights and biases gives you histograms of the weights that you're getting in your model, which basically tells you the distribution of the weights that you're seeing, but it doesn't actually give you as much information about the layout of the weights as TensorFlow Playground does. You don't necessarily need that amount of information because you can get an idea of the distribution of the weights, and that can tell you about how the model is learning to take into account the distribution of your data as it generates the weights itself. And in this Colab notebook, I've also included a couple different data sets. So there's fashion MNIST, there's normal MNIST. So definitely try out different data sets and see how those distributions compare to each other, because it can tell you a little bit about how the model is learning different features from different data sets in order to create an accurate prediction and an accurate formula. So with that, we've looked at two different ways of visualizing neural networks and how to use those visualizations and also learned a bit about how to interpret those visualizations in a way that's useful to us. Hopefully you guys find this useful, and if there are any questions or any other AI 101 topics that you'd like to learn about, you can let me know in the comments below. This tutorial was made possible by Weights and Biases. If you don't already know, Weights and Biases makes fast and easy to use developer tools that help you track, visualize, and optimize your deep learning projects. In fact, their library is used by companies like OpenAI to track ongoing projects. I'd highly recommend them to people at any stage in their machine learning journey, and if you have an open source, academic, or personal project that you'd like to try, you can use Weights and Biases for free. Get started with your own ideas or use their reports to improve your skills and understanding of anything from language models to music generation. And if you have a quick question or just want to chat, you can join their Slack community. You should also check out Gallery by Weights and Biases, where anyone can read and publish curated machine learning research, tools, and best practices. It's the ideal publishing platform for ML because you can augment your writing with model predictions, metrics, and custom charts. Even if you aren't interested in developing machine learning models yourself, Weights and Biases hosts regular podcasts and webinars on a variety of topics, so if you like my videos, you'll probably like them too. If this sounds interesting to you, sign up for Weights and Biases or check out the gallery using the links in the description and start working on your machine learning projects in less than 5 minutes. Otherwise, if you like this video, you can let me know by smashing the like button and subscribing to my channel. You can also check out the rest of the AI 101 series, including the video that I mentioned a couple times in this one, how to build your first neural network. If you'd like to follow more of my PhD life, you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye.